Hi, I'm Madeline Herrera, an attorney here at the Law Office of Bryan Fagan, and today we're going to be talking about police officers and child custody challenges that they may face in a child custody case. First responders are incredibly important to our community, especially police officers. They have vowed to protect and support their communities to the best of their ability. But sometimes I think we forget that police officers, as well as all first responders, are possibly parents too, and they have their own lives separate from what they do for a living. Child custody cases can be overwhelming and very time-consuming too. But imagine if you were a police officer going through a divorce and a custody battle. That would be very difficult, simply because a police officer does not have your typical 9-to-5 work schedule. While there might be times when you have a stable and traditional hours, there may also be other times when you take on an added workload and therefore cannot commit yourself to a standard amount of work hours like people in other professions can. Your life is spent constantly fluctuating your hours based on the needs of your community. And while that is a very admirable function of your career, it can also be quite difficult when taking care of your children as a single parent. Whether you plan on filing a child custody case or are currently going through one in Texas, there are a couple of different concepts about custody I think you need to consider. The first being legal custody. Legal custody refers to the idea that both you and your co-parent are going to have legal responsibilities and rights regarding your children. Within your child custody order, you may be the parent designated as the primary conservator of your children. As a primary conservator, there are certain rights that may be awarded to you solely, such as whether you will have the right to determine the primary residence of your children. On the other hand, aside from legal custody is what is known as physical custody. Having physical custody of your children is what most parents, especially law enforcement and first responders, care about most because visitation and access to your children is important. I think the reason for this is because law enforcement and first responders understand that their time is precious and they value every opportunity they get to spend physically with their children. On top of the physical possession aspects of a child custody case, parents who are also police officers also need to be aware of the decision-making authority that they and their co-parent will have regarding their children. For example, your child's health, religious, educational, and safety decision-making capabilities will be placed in the hands of both you and your co-parent. Depending on what you negotiate in your divorce or child custody case, both you and your co-parent will share these decision-making capabilities, or that right may be awarded solely to one parent. How you divide up these rights depends on the needs of your children and both your predispositions toward being able to make these tough choices. No one understands the issues of safety and welfare better than a law enforcement officer. And for that reason, you might have specific ideas in place when it comes to being able to help your family manage the safety and welfare of your children. In a typical standard possession parenting plan or a custody arrangement, you and your co-parent would trade off weekends. A standard possession order in Texas has one non-custodial parent who is the parent entitled to physical possession of the children on the first, third, and fifth weekends of each month. That weekend would begin at 6 p.m. on a Friday and would end at either 6 p.m. on Sunday or at the time school resumes Monday morning. Unfortunately, this type of set schedule does not work well for law enforcement. So it is imperative you and your co-parent discuss and agree to a possession schedule that benefits both parents and is the ultimate best decision of your children. A child custody case is never a journey anyone is eager to take on, but it is absolutely necessary when you are considering what is in the best interests of your children. And here at the Law Office of Bryan Fagan, we are here for you. Please call us today with all of your custody, divorce, and any other family law questions you have. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on post notifications for our YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook for more updates.